2024, it's the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrows. The team arriving in our world famous Diamond 9 formation, trailing our world famous red, white and blue. The team leader brings the team around to the left, means he's starting with a rolling show. And you can really see that top side image of our world famous Diamond 9. Leading the team this year, we have a new red one. He's been in the team many years before. It's squadron leader John Bond, known as Bondy. Bondy's been in the team 5 years. He took 1 year out before taking over this year as the team leader. He's been red 2, 7, 6 twice and red 4 when he came back in 2022. As the team come from the left in Big Vixen. Bondy is a previous Typhoon pilot, and he also flew the Tucano as a creamy qualified flying instructor, where he was the display pilot in 2012. For all those that saw the news on Saturday, unfortunately, the wider aviation, the Royal Air Force, lost a very dear friend and colleague in a tragic air accident. We on the Red Arrows would like to pay tribute to our very good friend, and our thoughts go to his friends and family. And in tribute of squad leader Mark Long, this is Spitfire.
Hold on, go. And
as the team completes Spitfire, they now come round to the left-hand side. On the right of Red 1 is Red 2. That's squadron leader Chris McCann, known as Creamy. He's known as Creamy as he was creamed off as an instructor after training to be a qualified flying instructor on the Tucano. He then joined Tornado with 617, the Dam Busters, where he received an Air Force Cross for his service on operations. To the left-hand side is Flight Lieutenant Dusty Wales, known as Dusty. His full name is Dustin. He's a previous Typhoon pilot with 11 Squadron, 29 Squadron and the Test and Evaluation Squadron on 41. The team have now moved into a shape which represents one of the most majestic and iconic aircraft ever in history. This is Concorde.
smoke on, go. Coming left, now.
On the 30th, in November in 2023, it was the 30th anniversary of the last flight of Concorde, and I'm sure you can imagine and agree with me that Concorde is one of the most majestic and famous aircraft in history, and it was only fitting that we put it into our display. You can now see all the front sections starting to make their way forward. Reds 8 to 9 moving to their left and right respectively. Once again, get your cameras ready for the colourful. This is the Phoenix.
Smoke off, go. Smoke on, go.
In the middle of the right wing, that's uppermost, is Flight Lieutenant Ollie Suckling. He's Red 4. He's in the second year on his team. He was Red 4 last year. He remained as Red 4 and took up the position known as Uncle Enid, which means that he looks after the new pilots in the front section as they go through their training. There are 11 pilots on the Red Arrows. We have Reds 1 through 9 who you see displaying in front of you, and you'll have myself, Red 10, former Tornado pilot, qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II. And of course, we are commanded by Officer Commanding Rafa. That's Wing Commander Adam Collins, who's here with me today also. He was my predecessor as Red 10. He's also a former Tornado GR4 pilot, and he's also flown the F-111 while on exchange with the Australian Air Force. Team coming in from the right for the chevron roll. On the front row, on the far left-hand side, is Red 5. That's Flight Lieutenant George Hobday. First year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot, having flown with 11 Squadron on operations on both over Iraq and Syria, as well as the Eastern Europe Air Policing Patrol. In addition to the 11 pilots, the Red Arrows, of course, is made up of over 140 personnel. Over 120 of them are the Blues, and they are the mechanics, the technicians, the administrators, the suppliers, and they are the absolute backbone of the team to be able to make it work. And they're like cogs in a clock. One of the cogs drops off and the clock doesn't work, and that's how the Red Arrows team work, with every single member an absolute vital piece of the team. You'll now see Reds 8 and 9 dropping in trail on the rest of the formation, coming in from the front left. It's one of the most popular manoeuvres that we have on the show. We've kept it in for this year. Get your cameras ready for the Tornado!
8 and 9, roll, go.
The board call from Red 9 as Reds 8 and 9 roll around the rest of the formation, smoking red and blue. Red 1 brings the formation down the line and changes the colour in the front section, while 8 and 9 continue to make that roll around the smoke. The aircraft flying in that particular manoeuvre with their air brakes out. That's the small door at the bottom of the aircraft towards the rear. This has two effects. It means the pilots fly with a higher throttle setting, and thereby it increases the exhaust gas temperature, making the smoke burn a lot more brightly. And it also disturbs the airflow outside the back of the aircraft. That allows the smoke to burn a lot, plume a lot more fully, and it enhances certain manoeuvres through the show. Inside those blues that I just mentioned about the mechanics, there are 11 individuals specially selected to fly in the back of our aircraft in between displays when we cannot take the full engineering complement. And they are known as Circus, and one individual with me at every display is Circus 10, who's right in front of me today filming the show. Coming from the right, your last opportunity to see the world famous Royal Air Force aerobatic team in Diamond 9. Red 1 brings the team round to right as we come to the end of the first half. As we start the second half, Red 1 has brought the 5-4 split, which hasn't been seen for nearly 20 years. We now have Enid going off to the right. That's Reds 1 through 5, called Enid after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And we have Reds 6, 7, 8 and 9 off to the left, known as Hannah. They are named after squadron leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows, the only Red Arrow to lead the team for 4 years. He took the team from a 7 to a 9 and also formed our Diamond 9. Enid from the right, Hannah from the left. This is the 5-4 pass. Keep your eye on Enid to the left-hand side. The Red Arrows were formed in 1964 with our first display in 1965. The Red Arrows were formed from 3 different teams. We had the Red Pelicans, the Black Arrows and the Yellow Jacks. We took the red from the Red Pelicans, we took the arrows from the Black Arrows, and we took the aircraft from the Yellow Jacks. And in tribute to that aircraft, Enid from the right, this is Nat.
Motor, go.
The Nat served with of the Red up until 1980 when we took over with the Hawk T-Mark 1, which is one of the aircraft that we fly now. It's very agile, very manoeuvrable, and perfect for flying in air displays. And all the pilots attribute it to a little small sports car, which is great fun to fly. If you look directly to your front now, just slightly to the left of the trees, you can see the twinkling headlights of Red 6, 7, 8 and 9. Red 7 and 8 and 9 roll. Get your cameras ready for the Hannah break.
Hannah split.
We have Red 7 and 8 off to the left-hand side. We have Red 6 and 9 off to the right-hand side. Hannah and the Synchro pair are led by the Synchro leader, and that is Red 6, Flight Lieutenant Stuart Roberts. Stu is in his third and final year on the team. He was Red 7 last year, he was Red 2 in his first year. He's a former Typhoon pilot, flown with both 11 and 12 squadrons at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire. Each pair will now dive down to approximately 200 to 300 feet above the airfield. They'll have a closing speed of over 800 miles per hour in the Hannah Pass. Red 6 off to the left, Red 7 off to the right, now turning hard back towards the centre of the display line. Red 7 is squadron leader Tom Hansford, second year on the team, he was Red 3 last year. Turning hard, he's a former Typhoon pilot and a qualified weapons instructor as they complete manoeuvre called Cyclone. Each aircraft passing with only 30 metres, that's 100 feet of each other, as they line up to complete the manoeuvre in slingshot. But coming in from your left-hand side is Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Patrick Kershaw, known as Paddy. He turns hard off towards the right-hand side. He lines up with Enid to complete the Goose.
Power. Little bit right. Nah.
Paddy is a former Typhoon pilot and Tornado GR4 pilot, and he is in his third and final year on the squadron. Enid coming right, trailing our famous red, white and blue. And that is possible due to the smoke pod that is underneath the aeroplane. Those smoke pods are capable of producing approximately 5 minutes of white smoke, 1 minute of red smoke and 1 minute of blue smoke. And each of the colours are individually selected on the pilot's control column. Appearing above the trees in the distance is Red 6 and 7 once again, pulling up. Once again, get your cameras ready. The smoke comes on for the world famous, it's the Synchro Heart. And coming in from the top right is Red 8 as he spears the heart. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Rich Walker, second year on the team. He was Red 2 last year. He's a former Harrier pilot, Typhoon pilot, and he was also a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark 2. Yeah, let's give Synchro and Red 8 a massive round of applause for the wonderful heart over the skies of Radley Hall. Keep your eye on Red 6 and 7 once again. Red 6 off to the right, Red 7 off to the left. They'll dive down to, again, only 200 feet above the airfield. They'll have a closing speed of over 800 miles per hour. For one of the most complex manoeuvres ever conducted, they will turn away from each other at the last second and complete a barrel roll in the opposition barrel rolls. Coming in from the left, we have Enid. They've now joined by Reds 8 and 9 as they roll around the formation in corkscrew. The motto of the Red Arrows is Eclat, which means excellence, and it means that every single member of the team is striving for excellence in everything that we do. And we also tried to leave the team in a better place than once we joined. And that is all the way from the very top, from the officer commanding, all the way down to the newest members of the team. We have immense pride in the team and also being part of the Royal Air Force. Once again, keep looking left, keep looking right. The synchro pair once again returning back to the display line. This time we have Red 6 from the left and Red 7 from the right. The smoke goes on. They'll each perform a 360-degree aileron roll. Pull go is the call made by Red 6 as each aircraft pull up at 5 to 6G. That means everything about them, from the head all the way down to the toes, is weighing 5 to 6 times heavier than what you and I are as we stand on the airfield. They reach a height of over 3,000 feet. They're inverted 60 degrees nose down. They roll the right way up to complete the manoeuvre called boomerang.
Roll, go.
Just appearing above the trees in the distance, you have Enid once again, smoking the red, white and blue. They start to leave a barrel roll, leaving a smoke-like, snake-like trail in the sky, before Red 1 flattens it off to draw the coils of the flat part of the serpent. Red 1 calls Tango as all Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 start to make their way up and form themselves in line with Red 1. This is one of the hardest formations for each of those pilots to fly. They are now all looking directly 90 degrees down their shoulder line, trying to maintain that formation on Red 1 as the smoke comes on for Tango.
Go.
Coming in from the left, once again, you got Red 6, 7, 8 and 9. Red 6 and 7 roll in as they perform the mirror pass. Red 6 and 7 inverted for no more than 30 seconds. However, that negative G is pushing all the blood to their head, and they're working extremely hard to make sure they maintain consciousness in that negative G manoeuvre. As Hannah leaves to your right hand side, look to your far left hand side. Once again, you can see the nose lights twinkle in the distance. The smoke comes on. 2 and 3 roll go is the call as Reds 2 and 3 roll around the outside. Clear go as Reds 4 and 5 roll around the outside. In one of the hardest manoeuvres for new pilots each year, this is the rollbacks. As Enid leads to our right hand side, look directly to your front over the centre clump of trees and you can see Hannah running back in, once again with her nose twinkling in the distance. As I said earlier, it is our 60th anniversary. It's our diamond formation. And Reds 8 and 9 drawing something very special in the sky. This is the 60 anniversary break. Give a massive round of applause for Reds 8 and 9 for drawing a wonderful 60 in the skies of Radley Hall. But the show's not over. Once again, keep your eye on Reds 6 and 7. They've pulled up. They're on the perch at about 1,500 feet before they dive down for their final manoeuvre of the show. Once again, they'll be down at about 200 feet with a closing speed of over 800 miles per hour in the double rolls.
Cool, go.
Look directly to your front and you'll see Enid running back in. They've now been joined on 8 and 9 for the Vixen break. But Midlands Air Festival, it's been an honour, it's been a pleasure. Please put your hands together for the Red Arrows!